Hi, so today I'm going to show you how to use Procreate. So the first thing that you need to do is to click the plus sign at the top. So this plus sign here shows you the canvas sizes. So there's a lot of canvas sizes on here. So there's like 4K, A4, square, etc., etc. And then as you scroll down, if your device has pre-saved canvas sizes, so you could just choose from there whichever you want to use, but we're going to use screen size. So this is your canvas. You could zoom in and zoom out using two fingers. Just pinch it to zoom out and then just zoom in using two fingers as well. In order for you to choose color, you're going to click the circle at the top, so it's on the top right, and then with this setting it will help you choose whichever color you want to use. So there's two nodes. The first one is the biggest circle, which is you could change the different kinds of colors that you could use for that one, and then a smaller node helps you choose a saturated color or a desaturated color for that. The next thing is you're going to pick any brush that you want to use and then just go to the brush setting and then pick any brush that you want to use. So right now we're using Studio Pen. So Studio Pen is highly recommended if you want to use a solid brush, and I'll show you why in a bit. So right now we're just gonna do some basic lines and shapes. So when you want to draw a straight line, just draw a straight line, and then you're going to hold it, and then it'll show you that it says line created at the top. If you want to make your brush size a little bit thicker, so there's this slider on the left side, you can just have it all the way up, so max size, and then you can just draw the same line and then hold it, and then it'll say line created. And then if you wanted to make the brush size smaller, you're going to slide it downwards and then draw the same line and then hold your Apple Pencil on the screen, and then it'll say line created. So if you want a lighter line for your drawing, you're just going to use the second slider and then lower the opacity. So when you slide it downwards, the opacity would be lower, and then if you want to slide it upwards to max opacity of 100%, your color would be really solid. And then you just do the same thing. So draw a line, straight line, hold it, and then it'll say line created. If you want to draw other shapes like an arc, a circle, a zigzag, and a box, any shape that you want, as long as you hold your Apple Pencil on the screen, and then it'll say line created or arc created, etc., etc. So that's the beauty of Procreate. It helps you smoothen your lines with these little settings. So the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to fill in the shapes that you have. In order for you to be able to fill in the shapes that you drew, make sure that the edges are closed. So when you double check that the edges are closed and you're using a solid brush, what you're going to do is you're going to drag and drop the color into the shape that you just drew. So the next tool that I'm going to show you how to use is the smudge tool. So the smudge tool is beside the brush tool at the top menu. So the smudge tool has the same brushes that you could use as the brush tool that we just looked at a while ago. So with the smudge tool, you can pick any texture that you want to use for blending or just for smudging the colors. And then basically the erase tool also has the same brushes that you could use. So it has a lot of texture. It also has a lot of different kinds of settings to it, so you just feel free to explore that one. So the next step is to use select tool. So select tool is actually helpful when you want to erase a certain area of your drawing or you just want to move it. So that S looking icon at the top of the menu. So please click on that, and then make sure that you're on freehand. So freehand allows you to select a certain area without being too complicated. So just an example here that I'm showing you. So I'm selecting a certain part of the circle, and then I'm going to use the move tool, which is the arrow tool beside the select tool at the top menu, and then you can move it around like this. And then with the move tool, you could also make it smaller or bigger. Just you could use 2 fingers to pinch it or to make it larger, or you could use the nodes on the corners of the move tool. The next one that I'm going to show you is layers. So right now I went to layers, and then you could click the plus sign at the top. So when you click the plus sign at the top, it makes a new layer. If you want to hide the drawings that you did on layer 1, just uncheck the box on layers, and then it'll hide your drawing. So I want you to draw a large circle in the middle, making sure that you're using a solid brush like Studio Pen, and then you're going to drag and drop the colors inside that shape. And then the next thing that you're going to do is go to layers, and then click on the small box where you could see your drawing is previewed on layers, and then you're going to click on that. So once you click on that, you're going to enable alpha lock. Once you've enabled alpha locked, you're going to draw inside of your shape with a different color, and then you'll see that your drawings aren't going to go out of that shape. So that's what alpha lock does, is it limits your drawing inside a certain space. This is good for when you're wanted to draw details just inside of a specific space, so it doesn't go out of your drawing. A similar thing about this is clipping mask. So with clipping mask, what I want you to do is to get a new layer, draw a square or any kind of shape that you want, and then fill that in with the color that you want to use, and then go to layers again, click the plus sign at the top to create layer 4, and then I want you to click on the gray box to pull up the menu on the side, and then please enable clipping mask. So when you have that on clipping mask, it's the same as alpha lock, but this time you're going to draw on a different layer, which is clipping mask below that layer. So this is helpful when you want to draw details similar to alpha lock, but this time, if you don't want that those textures anymore, you could erase that without doing anything on the layer below it. So this is good for when you wanted to change the design, and then you could just delete that layer and then start over again without doing much, without doing anything on the layer below it. So now I'm gonna show you other tools of Procreate. So let's click on brush tool. You can use Studio Pen again, and then just click on actions on the top left menu. So it's the wrench icon at the top left. And then just a bit of a tip, if you want to see your brush cursor, so just go to preference. If you could see it on the screen, just go to preference and then enable cursor. The next thing is that you're going to use canvas. So just click on canvas. When you click on canvas, you're gonna enable drawing guide. When you enable drawing guide, you're going to click on edit drawing. So these are all of the drawing guides for Procreate. So there is 2D grid, there's isometric, there is perspective, and then there's symmetry. So each of these will only work if you have assisted drawing enabled on the bottom right. So please enable drawing assist on the bottom right. And then let's take a look at using symmetry. So with symmetry, obviously it draws whatever you have on either side and it mimics the same shape. So this is helpful for when you wanted to draw a symmetrical object, or it could be a symmetrical portrait. And if you want to disable that drawing assist, just go to layers, click on the box where your drawing is previewed, and then uncheck drawing assist. And then you should be able to draw just on one side of the canvas. So the next thing that I'm going to show you is adjustments. So adjustment setting on Procreate has a lot of tools in it. So the first thing that I'm going to show you is hue and saturation. So click on hue and saturation. So just click on layer, and then when you click on layer, you could change the saturation or the hue of your color. So see what I'm doing here? I'm choosing a different color for my drawing. I'm also changing the saturation and then the brightness as well. Once you're happy with your drawing, what you could do is just go to actions again, click on share, and then you could share it as a Procreate file, PSD, PDF, JPEG, PNG, TIFF, etc., etc. And then just an example, you clicked on JPEG, just click on JPEG and then save it as image in your device, and then you should be good to go. So that's the basics of Procreate.